Hey friends, Ash here with Gents back with another fragrance review. And before anybody leaves comments about it, yeah, I've got kind of a zit thing going on my face. You would think that once you become an adult, that wouldn't happen, but apparently I'm going through puberty again. So, that's cool. You already know by the title of the video what we're taking a look at today, and it's this one, the new Davidoff Cool Water Flanker Cool Water Intense. This is a new eau de parfum take on the original Cool Water Eau de Toilette, which is one of the best-selling men's fragrances of all time. So I guess you could say that this Cool Water Intense has been a long time coming, or decades coming at this point. Of course, Cool Water has tons of flankers out there, like all of the summer releases that constantly come out underneath the Cool Water name, but this one is kind of viewed as a direct follow-up to the original, instead of just being a throwaway summer flanker type of scent. In this video, like always, we're gonna take a look at that presentation. I'll break down this fragrance a little bit, let you know what I think about it, let you know whether it's something you should check out or not, in my opinion. You know, just your basic run-of-the-mill fragrance review. So without further ado, let's jump into it and check out Cool Water Intense. First off, let's take a look at that presentation. And this box is a bit of a fingerprint magnet, so you're gonna have to ignore those. So here's a good look at the box. You can see there, Davidoff Cool Water Intense. You've got the size and concentration down there at the bottom. You've got the Davidoff logo on top of the box. You've got your ingredients here on the side of the box. A little further information on the other side of the box. On the back, you've got a little bit of a write-up of the fragrance. And on the bottom there, your batch code and barcode. Next up, we'll take a look at the bottle, and I'll bring the original and the intense version up close just so you can do a comparison of the colors there really quickly. So here they are, the original Cool Water and then Cool Water Intense. And there's a good look of the Cool Water Intense bottle. You can see down there at the bottom, eau de parfum. The cap does not click into place, but it slides snugly into place so you can pick it up by the cap if you want to. And on the bottom, you've got your sticker with your batch code. It almost looks like I got hit in the face, but I promise I didn't. I'll waste a couple sprays for you guys so you can see how the atomizer works. The atomizer on this is actually pretty good. There we go. Usually I'll have some notes when I do a fragrance just to make sure I don't miss something that I want to talk about, but no notes this time. I'm just kind of winging it. So I guess we should get this out of the way before I break the fragrance down. Cool Water Intense really has nothing to do with Cool Water. Cool Water Intense does not smell like Cool Water. Really at all. It's not even one of those fragrances where you can say, oh, they took the DNA and made a big change. Really, there's no Cool Water DNA to be found in Cool Water Intense. So if you're a huge fan of the original Cool Water and you're maybe hoping for something with either more intense top notes or more strength, more power, more longevity, more projection, but following in the same DNA, or at least a similar DNA, you're gonna be let down. Cool Water Intense is its own fragrance. Yeah, it shares the same bottle, it shares the same name as the original Davidoff Cool Water, but that's about it. Well, I guess you could say that they share similar uses in terms of what time of year you would use the fragrance, what season you would use the fragrance. Davidoff Cool Water Intense has that in common with Cool Water for the most part, but that's really about as similar as they get, to be honest. Of course, Davidoff Cool Water gets compared to Creed Green Irish Tweed, along with some cheaper fragrances like Aspen by Coty. At this point, the DNA of Cool Water is really well known, again, because it's so popular, because it's sold so well. Green, fresh, aquatic, there are a lot of different ways that you could describe Cool Water. One thing that can't be understated though is that it's a hit. People love it. Even if today it's considered a little bit dated by some people. Now, Cool Water Intense. This actually has only 3 listed notes, which I've noticed on some new releases lately. They've just been keeping it super simple as far as the note breakdown goes. So that means there's a lot of unlisted stuff going on, but this one has 3 listed notes. It has green mandarin in the top, it has coconut nectar in the mid, and it has amber in the base. That is it. When I first spray on Cool Water Intense, the first thing that I get is amber. The amber note from the base. I pick that up immediately and it stays there for the entirety of the life of the scent. And the amber that's in here comes across powdery, and it also comes across like it's got an ambroxan type feel to it, which again is super common nowadays. If you guys watch my channel often, you'll know that most of the designer fragrances that have been coming out lately have either ambroxan or amberwood or something along those lines, and Cool Water Intense definitely smells like it's got a bit of that in here too. So you have that amber slash semi-ambroxan powdery kind of feeling in the opening. The green mandarin here does not come across like a really juicy, fresh, bright orange to me. It actually comes across more like a green orange rind or something like that. It's just not as bright as you might expect, especially in a cool water flanker. It is sweet though. This fragrance is honestly very sweet. It's not a bubblegummy kind of sweetness, but it is a synthetic sweetness. And you pick that up immediately as soon as you spray this on. And again, that's one of the things that carries through the life of this scent is that sweetness. So that amber and the sweetness, if you don't like that initially, you're probably not gonna like this fragrance because that stuff sustains and lasts. As it starts to dry down a little bit, you do start to pick up that coconut nectar or coconut note, but it's not super prominent. It's more like this coconut that you pick up along the edges of that amber, ambroxan, amber extreme, whatever that's going on, that powdery amber. You pick up the coconut kind of along the edges of that. It does lend this little bit of dusty tropical sweetness, but I think for a lot of people out there, if you did not tell them that it was coconut that they were smelling, they may not be able to place that note. After you make it into the dry down, that coconut really starts to fade into the background until you can't pick it up much at all. And at that point, it becomes more of that ambery, powdery sweetness. And that's what lasts for the longest amount of time. In the dry down, that's really what I get. And this fragrance isn't one, at least off my skin, that changes an extreme amount. The biggest change is from the mid into the dry down as that coconutty sweetness fades back and fades away. That's the biggest change. And I've got to be honest with you guys, this is a monstrous performer off my skin. It is extremely potent, which was a huge surprise because oftentimes you'll see whatever intense and the flanker is not actually all that intense. It might have slightly better performance, it might last a little bit longer, and sometimes you even have flankers where the intense version is actually weaker than the original version. Cool Water Intense off my skin has monstrous performance, it really does. It lasts over 12 hours. The first time that I wore this, it actually gave me kind of a headache because I sprayed a few too many sprays. I didn't realize it was as strong as it is. And if I'm being honest, I wouldn't want to wear this in summer. If it's really hot outside, I don't think this is a really great choice for summer. It has that powdery kind of feeling. It has a lot of sweetness. Again, kind of synthetic sweetness, not bubblegummy, just very persistent, strong sweetness from the opening to the dry down. And with it being so strong, I imagine this would be very cloying in high heat, especially if you do any more than a couple of sprays. Whereas the original Cool Water was a great spring and summertime fragrance, the intense version is gonna be more of a spring and fall fragrance for me personally. You could even wear it in winter if you wanted to, just because it's so strong. It's not a fragrance that I would wear to the office. I think that it's too strong for that. And when you're intermingling with a lot of different people, with a lot of different tastes that are a lot of different ages, you know, younger people, middle-aged people, older people, this is not a fragrance that's gonna be appreciated by everybody. And for people that are more sensitive to fragrances, with the strength that this one has coming off my skin, it would just be a no-go. It would be one of those fragrances that I end up having to scrub off at some point because somebody is having a coughing fit because of the scent. So for some people, that awesome performance is going to be a good thing. For other people, it's gonna be a bad thing. For me, it leans actually a little bit more toward being a bad thing, which sounds weird because I know everybody wants beast mode fragrances, or at least that seems to be a really popular thing online. People love performance, they love that monstrous projection, that really great longevity that's gonna get you through all day and all night. But for me, with Cool Water Intense, it actually limits a little bit when I would want to wear it. Like I've been talking about, kind of kills the office for me. There's no way I would wear it to the office. Kills high heat for me. So when it's warm in the spring or in the summer, I wouldn't want to wear it then. So it kind of relegates it again to certain parts of spring, fall, and winter. believe it or not. It's kind of a strange scent to me in general, because on one hand, I think it's a little bit different than most of the stuff that's out there right now. Nothing smells like Cool Water Intense. It's definitely its own fragrance. But then on the other hand, it's so strong and overwhelming at times that I don't know that I'll really reach for it much at all. One good thing about Davidoff Cool Water Intense is that it's already at discounters for a pretty good price. So you can get this size bottle, which is 4.2 ounces, 125 milliliters, for in the $30 to $35 range as of this video. And for a brand new fragrance, that's a pretty good price. So if you are interested in this one, definitely scoop it up from a discounter. Don't pay full retail. When I did my first impression on this, I was actually a little bit impressed, I think because I didn't know what to expect. So it kind of came out of left field when I first smelled Cool Water Intense, and I was kind of taken aback and trying to process what exactly it was that Davidoff was doing with Cool Water Intense versus the original Cool Water. At the time I said it was a little weird, that it was strong, that it was projecting very heavily off my skin, and that I kind of dug it. As I've given it more wear, I know what to expect, I know how it's gonna smell, I know how it's gonna change from the opening to the dry down, and at this point, I don't dislike it, but I can't tell you guys that I love it. And it does come across a little bit simplistic to me. Not that simplistic is necessarily a bad thing, it's just there's not a whole lot of change going on once you go through the mid. Once you stop picking up those nuances of the coconut nectar, it basically turns into just a very amber slash ambroxan heavy type of scent with a little bit of sweetness, maybe some residual spice, just this tiniest touch of sweet spice in there. I don't know what it is. It's not, like I said, an official note. It just smells like there's something there. So for me, this is the type of fragrance that I view as being decent. It does something different at least, but it's not something that blows me away. If at all possible, before splurging for this bottle, do try to sniff it first. Do try to give it a wearing off your skin and see how it reacts with your skin and see how you enjoy it. All right guys, that's gonna do it for my thoughts on Davidoff Cool Water Intense. This definitely takes the Cool Water line in another direction, does its own thing. It's not trying to take the original EDT and make that more powerful, or take some of the notes from the EDT and make those more prominent. None of that. This is its own fragrance, just put into a cool water bottle. Intense is very sweet, a little bit fresh, very ambery, but not a rich resinous amber, more of an ambroxan amber. If you have smelled Davidoff Cool Water Intense, let me know in the comments below what you think about it. As always, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Thanks for all of your support, and I will see you guys again tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.